You know, lads, I never believed in demons and the demons where they come back and haunt you in the middle of the night, or they haunt you even in the daytime and they just don't go away. They give you doubt. They give you stress. I believe in them since the day I was forced into retirementship when I was motor racing. You've got some good times. They always stay with you, but you've also got the dark times where the demons come. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, lads, is because I can relate to these two drivers. We're now at the Formula One Dutch Grand Prix. Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. I think we can all say with great confidence that the championship is going to go down between one of these two. And one will triumph, one will fall. And the stakes have never been this high. And we're going to go through why they are so high and why these two pilots will never forget this season, and why the demons for one of these drivers will always stay with them from this year of 2024. Let's get into it.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from fifth all the way to the lead in lap one.
Walsh takes win number two.
Peter. Wow. Into now where the demons will come for Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. And believe me, they will for one of these boys. And we're going to get into the track as well, guys. But, you know, I want to give you a little bit more insight into the racing driver's mind. And, well, I'll give you mine. And I know it haunts guys I know back from the days as well. You know, there's times where you've got those great times. You'll never forget the champagne spraying all over you. I'm not joking when I say this. I can still, after decades, I can still smell the champagne when I vividly imagine myself on the podium. It is an unbelievable feeling. It always stays with you. You always carry it into the next thing. And I think a lot of us can relate to this, you know, where you've got that unbelievable day. You can smell the roses in the garden if it was, or the champagne that you were spraying on yourself, or you got that job and you got that hug off your mom or your dad or your best friend, and it was such a beautiful, embracing hug. You don't forget it. It's like you take a snapshot, a screenshot in your mind, and it always stays with you, and that's great. Then the demons come. I mean, guys, I was good very, very good under pressure. In fact, I even turned on. So I was very lucky. That's always stayed with me. But still, there's been some times where I went, well, actually, Peter, that was pressure. That was a pressurized scenario here, wasn't it? And you start doubting yourself. You start thinking, yeah, that was pressure, man, and I didn't perform. Even though you've proven yourself on many occasions that, hey, when Peter gets under pressure, he turns on, man. He's good. But then you start thinking, I was in Wisconsin. I remember this in America in Formula 2000. I was concerned about an ex-girlfriend back in the day, and I didn't perform well. My head was off for one race, but it could have been everything. The stakes were high. Points were needed for every single race. And guys, we've all been distracted. We've all been there. We've all made mistakes. And you got to learn how to accept it. It's horrible. It's horrendous. I still think about that to this day, lads. And if I told anybody about that, anybody that was there with me on that day, you know, if I said to them that, oh, this come back and it haunts me, lads, they'd be like, what? Really? After all this time, you still have that? It's an incredibly intense scenario. I'm sure there's some people are saying, yeah, I know what you mean, Peter. Or maybe some of you thinking, oh, actually, I've never been in that situation. But it's there. It's there. So, lads, a quick background, as many of you may or may not know. At the start of this year, we've had Max Verstappen completely dominant. It was looking all over. Pack your bags, fellas. The war's over. Time to go home. It's done. Verstappen's going to take his fourth world championship. Then all of a sudden, cracks appeared in the ship. The boat's going down. Adrian Newey decides he's going to leave at the end of this year. The wizard behind the curtain. He is leaving at the end of this year. He's Max Verstappen's chief aerodynamicist, and for Red Bull. All of a sudden, they're losing pace. Then we've got McLaren over here, came from nowhere from the start of this year. And now all of a sudden, they've come from nowhere to bang, they're on the pace. In fact, they've been winning races. They've been on the podium consistently. And now they're the team to beat. Then you've got Mercedes over here. You've got George Russell, Lewis Hamilton. Both boys have picked up wins this year. You've got Lewis Hamilton's obviously epic race win at the British Grand Prix. You've got them having founding pace now. And now they're in with a bit of an outside chance, but you'd still say they've got a good chance at every race weekend from here on in to win the races. Then, of course, you've got Ferrari. They were good at the start of the year. They've lost a bit of pace, you could say, and they're struggling a little bit, but they're still not out of this, lads. They are still not out of this. We've got, all of a sudden, from Max Verstappen dominating at the start of this year, turn it around, now we've got 8 drivers in contention of winning races. This is unbelievable. We haven't had this ever. The 2021 season that broke down between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen was probably, arguably, one of the best ever for drama for us watching. This, I think, could actually top this. This is unreal. Now, this brings us up to Zandvoort in Holland this weekend. And the stakes are so incredibly high for Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Now, let's inspect why. Lads, Circuit Zandvoort, beautiful track, a lot of camber, off-camber corners. It's awesome. So we're going to go through some of the videos now and show you some of the lines on the track, guys. But okay, most importantly, this is like a tight, twisty track. It's like a karting track. Now, turn 3 is very, very important. Every single racing driver is taking the wrong line through here. Now, this corner is banked from down the left all the way up, and it raises up to the right-hand part of the edge of the track. So they're going into this third gear corner left-hander. The actual racing line is staying in the inside of the track. Do you see where they're all going around the outside? That is wrong. They need to be in the inside. Now, there's only one condition here. I've been told from my resources, people that I know that still go to Zandvoort these days, and they have said to me that the banking is exactly the same. They've just extended the layout of the corner itself. They've just made it wider. But the banking is the exact same. These guys need to be in that inside. However, this is a very important corner, but it's not the most important. I wanted to just point this out to you. The next corner up here, turn 7, Skyflax. This is the bad boy. This is the one where they really need to nail this, lads. So they come out of 3, up this straight. Now, it's technically their corners, 4, 5, and 6, but this is all flat out straight. They come up the hill, down, and this is very tight. It's just straight down, swoops down on top of you, and all of a sudden you're getting sucked into the car. If you carry too much speed, you're going to get on that curb on the left-hand side and crucify your lap. So you've got to make sure your car is very well balanced. Carry the speed into 7, especially when you go downhill. And then if you carry that speed just on the limit, keep it smooth, you'll carry it into 8, 9, and then into 10. That's the key around Zandvoort. Turn 7, Skyflacht. So, that's it, lads. We're nearly done. Now, we're going to just reflect on it in just a moment, but I would think the predictions this weekend, I honestly think McLaren have the bull by the horns here. I hope for Lando's sake he's going to have his A game. He's processed everything for his sake. I'm going to go with Lando Norris actually taking the win, believe it or not. I know a lot of people are thinking it has to be Verstappen. I just don't think he has the edge. But again, there's so much at stake. It's so hard to call. Toss a coin. And we also have got 8 drivers now that could win. I mean, we've never had this in Formula 1, lads, where 8 drivers could win the last few races. This is unheard of. This is unbelievable. This could be the best year of Formula 1 yet. and I'm not exaggerating, I'm not joking, I've never heard of eight different drivers that could win at any round going forward for the rest of the year. It's unbelievable. I'm going Lando Norris for the win. Now, I want to just finish off by saying, lads, this is a game of... Look, many of you might have seen that movie, Any Given Sunday. Well, Al Pacino's talking about he's having that last little speech before the team go back out at the end of the movie, right? And, yes, it's a movie, but there's a lot of truth to that. It comes down to millimeters. That one little split-second decision in all our lives that can lead a huge amount of agony in the long run. We've all been there. I've made the mistake. We've all made these mistakes. In fact, even one girl said to me the other day, she said that she got back with her ex-boyfriend who was a very toxic guy, but she was out with her friends one night, and give me a bit of rope on this one, lads. She was out with her friends one night, and her friends were saying, hey, let's go into this bar. And she said, and the girl now who got back with her ex-boyfriend, she said, oh, I don't know, all right. And she was kind of screaming in her head, no. And if she just put up a little bit of an argument, she wouldn't have seen her ex-boyfriend that night. What did she say? Because she just went, all right, to hell with it. She said it was a millisecond decision to go into that bar. Her ex-boyfriend was in the bar. They end up hooking up, and now she's back with him, and now she's getting tortured again in her head, mentally tortured. All from that one split-second decision. We can make these type of mistakes. These little things that can come back and haunt us. A stitch in time saves 9. And maybe that girl wouldn't have got back with her ex-boyfriend. Maybe she would have been in a fresher state of mind if she didn't go into that bar that night and she had another few months to process the information more and actually say, okay, I'm much more mentally strong. I'm not as vulnerable now. I'm done with this guy. But she said she was feeling vulnerable. Game of milliseconds, lads. A game of milliseconds, and this is what it all comes down to this year. And Max Verstappen might have blown his world championship if things go wrong now in Austria because he got dirty and desperate, and Lando Norris could have blown his championship now as well because he let Oscar Piastri through. Will this come back and haunt him? Do decisions that we've made in the past come back and haunt us? What do you think?
Walsh running the Irish crane, and look at the move he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from 5th all the way to the lead in lap 1.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter. Walsh.